It is opening day 2015 in Cincinnati, Ohio, the 129th season of baseball in the National League for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who meet the Cincinnati Reds for the 28th time. Going back to 1892, the Nasty Boys were honored. Part of that 1990 Reds World Championship. The Pirates have their sights set on a World Championship for 2015. Nothing like opening day. Greg Brown, Bob Walk, glad you could be with us. Bob, high expectations for this Pirates team this year, but I think they kind of like that, don't they?
Well, I'm sure they do. You know, it's been a long time since you've gone into a season coming off a couple of years like they have where they've been able to make the playoffs. So expectations, I think, for everybody, for the team and for some personal achievements, got to be very, very high. Of course, everybody is very excited. This is opening day.
Bob, 162 games on the schedule, but it is opening day, and there's nothing like it, is there?
Not at all. Everybody has that high energy going right now, probably more than you would at any other time except maybe for the postseason. All of those guys, they can't wait for that first at bat, catch that first ground ball, or to face that first hitter as a pitcher. You want to get out there, you want to get it over with.
When we come back, we're going to talk about this pitching matchup. It's a classic pitching matchup, the Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds. It's Frankie and Johnny. Yep, Francisco Liriano for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Johnny Cueto for the Cincinnati Reds. The Buccos and Reds getting set to open up the season. We'll have more coming up next. The 2015 baseball season, and really a great pitching matchup. Johnny Cueto, runner-up to Clayton Kershaw last year in Cy Young voting, against Francisco Liriano, who, when healthy, might himself someday take a run at a Cy Young.
Well, you would hope so. Cueto really owned us last year. We'd love to get that turned around right here opening day. And Francisco, off to a slow start last season. He doesn't want that to happen again this year. He wants to start fast.
We'll be back here shortly. Let's go back to the studios first. Rob King and a State Farm game break.
matches. We gonna turn this town to ashes, 'cause they ain't never seen nothing like us. I ain't heard loud till we turn it up.
That's gonna clear the deck in a big way. It's a bomb.
This ball is gone. Goodbye, baseball. Swing and a miss, strike three. And the Pirates won it.
Raise it, and you can raise it as high as you want.
Wow, how exciting is this?
Ain't scared to ride this train. Make a few marks, leave a few stains. Might slam just a little too hard. Might take it just a little too far. Might burn out like a firework, like a shooting star across the sky. And we may not be around in 20 years. No, we may not be around in 20 years. But we're sure gonna know we were here. Yeah, we're sure gonna know we were here.
How cool was that? To the sounds of Jason Aldean, gonna know we were here. Some of the sights and sounds from 2014, and looking forward to some exciting moments in 2015. Maybe the most anticipated start to a Pirate season since maybe 92, when the Pirates had won consecutive division titles. The Toyota starting lineup: Cincinnati native Josh Harrison stepping in, and Gregory Polanco and Andrew McCutchen. Neil Walker hits cleanup. Starling Marte will take a 13-game hitting streak with him, going back to last year. Pedro Alvarez, Francisco Cervelli, Jordy Mercer, and Francisco Liriano. Johnny Cueto, 29 years old, from San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic, ready to start the season. For the Reds and the Bucks, and it's a strike. 20-9 last year, Bob. 2.25 ERA, 244 innings to lead the league.
Hey, look at the opponent batting average down at 194. He just does not give up base hits. One of the best, always tough on the Bucks.
Yeah, take away the wild card game. In on his hands, a little flare to the shortstop, Cozart. Well, one away, and the season is underway. Check out the defense for the Reds. Brought to you by Honda. Billy Hamilton, the speedster, in center. Marlon Byrd, former Pirate, in left. Jay Bruce in right. Frazier Cozart on the left side. Phillips Votto on the right side. Mesoraco catching. Cueto as Gregory Polanco steps in. Billy Hamilton, the center fielder.
And we already saw with that first out that Cueto using that fastball. Loves to get outs on that pitch. Not a fastball that time.
Off speed, and Polanco out in front, 1-1. Talking to Polanco before the game. This is his first big league opening day. Said, "I'm so excited you can't believe it." 1-2 now on Gregory Polanco. Hit .235 with the Pirates last year. He faced Cueto 6 times, 1 for 6. And a line drive base hit for Polanco. Well, you started to see that timing coming back late spring training. He took off the winter at the Pirates' behest and worked out. You see he's a stronger player, especially in the lower half.
Yeah, he wanted to be a stronger player, be able to really kind of carry his good work early in the year through a 6-month season. It's what you have to do at the big league level. So he really worked a lot, and you can really see that his legs, a lot of added muscle.
Now Andrew McCutchen. We got just about a little over 30 at bats in spring training. That was his goal. Wasn't going to play in a lot of games. And you see the new look. This might be the first time you're seeing McCutchen without the dreads. 1 ball and 1 strike.
It really did. It took things a little easy in spring training to try something different. He's been great in spring training the last couple of years, and then slow starts. So maybe keeping his at-bats down a little bit will pay off here in April.
Ground ball, diving stop by Frazier, gets to his feet, and a stretch by Votto. What a play on both ends.
Absolutely A great play by Frazier, but what did that pick by Votto? Stretching as far as he could and able to pick that ball out of the dirt. Big time defense. Off the bat, I was hoping this ball's in the corner for extra bases.
Now, that would have been a 1-0 Pirates lead had it not been for that play by Frazier and the pick and the stretch by Joey Votto. What a way to start the year. Johnny Cueto loved it. And now Neil Walker with Polanco at second and 2 outs. Walker 23 home runs last year, 76 RBIs. Opening day last season, you'll remember in Pittsburgh, PNC Park, that walk-off home run in the bottom of the 10th to give the Pirates a 1-0 victory over the Cubs. On the strike check swing, no, says the third base umpire James Hoy over there.
Always liked Walker in these situations, runners in scoring position. He doesn't seem to ever panic, gets himself a good at bat.
John Hirschbeck calls that strike 2, 1-2 now. Veteran umpire John Hirschbeck. Cueto gets the call. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Walker gets a piece of it. Career 200 average versus Johnny Cueto, who in his career against the Pirates is 20-7. Andrew McCutchen robbed of an RBI double by Todd Frazier. One ball, 2 strikes on Neil Walker. Rick Sofield coaching third base this season for the Pirates. Nick Lave at first base. They flip-flopped. And Sofield, we expect him to be a very aggressive third base coach.
Definitely be aggressive here if you get a base hit with Polanco out there on 2 outs.
Now Mesoraco going to go out and talk to Cueto. And Nick Leva, longtime baseball man, had been the third base coach. Well, they switch positions. A ball, 2 strikes on Walker. And ready to start his 6th full year with the Pirates. And strike 3 call. Cueto, with some help from Todd Frazier, puts up a 0. And now Francisco Liriano takes the hill. Check out the Honda starting lineup. He'll be facing, and familiar names. Billy Hamilton is in center field. Then Joey Votto and Todd Frazier, with Devin Mesoraco hitting cleanup. Marlon Byrd bats fifth. Jay Bruce, then Brandon Phillips, who bats seventh for the first time in 5 years. Zach Cozart and Johnny Cueto round out the starting nine for Brian Price's Cincinnati Reds.
You see Frankie's numbers. The wins were down. Took him a long time to get going last year in that department, but the second half, he was the Liriano that we really leaned on. I mean, he could carry it. We know that for a while. And this year, you just hope that he'll get off to that quick start. Really looked great in spring training. Throwing the ball very well right now.
Pirates re-signed him as a free agent to a 3-year contract over the winter. Billy Hamilton takes the strike. Hamilton hit .250 last year. And going to try and bunt his way on. And the play is made by Cervelli. Francisco Cervelli. Quickly out to get it as Billy Hamilton is retired.
Well, with Hamilton going down the line, even a bunt that's not the greatest in the world, doesn't matter. You really have to do everything right. There's no fumbling the ball or anything like that, or he will be safe. He starts off in the grass running, but then he has to move over in the dirt, and did so right at the correct moment.
Ball one on Joey Votto. Votto hit .255 last year, played in only 62 games. Left knee injury. 1 ball and 1 strike. He is 3 for 17 in his career against Francisco Liriano, who's looking to beat the Reds for the first time in his career in the regular season.
Look at the sharpness of that slider. The fastball previously 94, slider at 87. That's what you like to see from Francisco. When his numbers are like that, that's when he's going to start getting a lot of chases out of the strike zone. The hitters just can't sit back. Everything's got a little bit more sharpness to it. That was really the difference in his season last year. You remember, Greg, how everything velocity wise, the breaking ball and the fastball down a little bit that first half. He just wasn't physically at his peak. But then when the season got to that halfway mark and he got well, he started throwing the ball hard, and the numbers were great.
14 second half starts. His earned run average .220 as he gets Votto to bounce to Walker. Rivers Casino tips to win.
Get the Reds to chase. That's just what we're talking about. Get some outs out of the strike zone. That's when Frankie is at his best. And tighten up the defense. We looked horrible on defense in Philadelphia. This game, you would think, would be very low scoring. So you have to play good defense. We saw Cervelli right from the start make a nice play, coming out and throwing out Hamilton. That's the kind of stuff you want to do if you're going to beat Cueto.
Bouncers knocked down by Liriano. He will throw to first and get Todd Frazier, and it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the first inning. 1 inning down in 2015. It's 0-0.
Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Toyota helps you get the most out of your drive. Just ask a friend who drives one. Toyota, let's go places. By Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. And by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks!
0-0 in Cincinnati. The first of an opening 3-game series. Day off tomorrow. Pirates and Reds. 0-0 after one. Starling Marte just 1 for 20 in his career against Cueto. Dribbles this one off the end of the bat. Marte looked good in spring training. Hit .291 last year with the Pirates. Had a great second half. 13 home runs and 56 RBIs. Now 26 years old. He and Carlos Gomez and Jacoby Ellsbury, only 3 players in the big leagues with at least 10 homers and 30 stolen bases. 1 ball, 1 strike. And time was called. Marte stepped out.
Didn't it look like time was called after the pitch hit the glove?
It looked like it.
Like, was tie going to be called if it was a strike? I don't get it. It didn't look like time was called until after the pitch hit the glove.
Now it's 1-2. Again, John Hirschbeck, Sam Holbrook, Bill Welke, James Hoy on the bases. 2-2 the count. Cueto is the 5th Reds pitcher to finish 2nd in Cy Young voting in the team's history, and gets Marte swinging. A couple of strikeouts for Johnny Cueto.
Another changeup, I believe. See there in the WB Mason strike zone. It was a chase down out of the strike zone. I think that, you know, looking at Cueto's stats as far as how many pitches he throws, we'll get to this maybe later.
The shift, Phillips retires Alvarez.
I'll pick it back up now. It looks to me, Greg, that he's going to be, or he is, one of those guys that pitches backwards a little bit. That when you fall behind on him, that's when he's more likely to give you a fastball. And when you're in a hitter's count, that's when you're more likely to see something off speed. He has such good command of everything. That's exactly how he pitched Marte, for instance. And he throws a ton of fastballs when he has 2 strikes. He doesn't change in that regard. A lot of times you will see pitchers where when they get to those 2 strike counts, they'll start throwing more sliders, more curveballs, whatever they think is a swing and miss type pitch, going for a strikeout. That's not reflected in the percentages that Cueto throws. He throws just as many fastballs when he's got a guy on the ropes as any other count.
It's a ball and a strike.
Reds had another pitcher that was very successful for years and years. It was like that. Jose Rios used to do that.
Cervelli's first at bat as a Pirate. First time he has faced Cueto. Justin Wilson was traded to the Yankees this winter. So Francisco Cervelli. And there's the fastball, and that was Bob was talking about, a 1-2 count.
It comes with a fastball.
Comes with a fastball. Missed it. 2-2.
And now he's going to come with a changeup. Now that was the almost identical how he pitched Marte. Marte could lay off that changeup. We showed it a second time. He swung, missed it down out of the strike zone. Chase. Cervelli didn't do that. I believe that was 3-2 changeup.
Line drive, one hop shot to the shortstop, Cozart. And on to first just as it starts to rain here in Cincinnati. It is 0-0. About the conditions, it looked as though this morning the forecast called for possible passing showers. Check out our Allegheny Health Network injury update. After the final preseason game on Saturday, the Pirates put Charlie Morton on the disabled list. He had off-season hip surgery, and he will be on the DL. You see his numbers this spring, and a really, really rough outing against the Phillies the other day. He was really messed up. Hope that Charlie can go down to, we figure he'll go down to extended spring, get to work, trying to get back where we saw him when he's healthy. Ball one now on Devin Mesoraco. Devin Mesoraco at .273 last year with 25 home runs.
A real nice breakout season for him, and that's up and down this Red lineup. Just about every spot there is, you can say that there's a player there that has at one time or another had a really fine offensive year and hit a lot of home runs, with Mesoraco now being one of those guys hitting cleanup.
Three and one.
What did Cowboys say to us before the game? If everyone plays up to the back of their card, we'll be in good shape.
Yep. Jeff Brantley, former pitcher and now color analyst. 3-2 the count on Mesoraco. Named to his first All-Star team last year. Liriano trying to come back from being down 3-0, but he'll walk Mesoraco. The Reds were a very patient team against Liriano last season. He walked 19 Reds batters in 30 innings over his 5 starts.
And that's, in my mind, always kind of a key is with Francisco. If he's got a team up there that's very aggressive and wanting to swing early, well, he can just tear those guys up. But sometimes he'll run in a bunch of hitters that are being very patient. They're not chasing out of the strike zone, and that can make it difficult for him. Francisco doesn't like to give in and just lay strikes in there if he can help it.
First pitch, a high fastball. It's a 37-year-old Marlon Byrd.
He likes to get ahead in the count, and then make you chase out of the strike zone, hopefully get a strikeout.
Oh, and 2 now on Bird. Reds traded for him. The Phillies picked up a minor league player in December. Of course, you know all about Bird's time with the Pirates a couple of years ago. And Liriano strikes him out on 3 pitches.
Yeah, that's classic Liriano there. Get ahead, get a chase when you're way ahead with a strikeout. Now, Francisco definitely the kind of the opposite. He's not going to be the guy that pitches backwards. He pitches like most guys do, that they try to have a strikeout like that when they're ahead in the count.
Ball 1 on Jay Bruce, looking for a bounce back season.
Yeah, they really need Bruce to do that. That's one of the guys you're talking about when you say play to the back of your baseball card. Look at those great numbers that you have back there. That's what they need out of Bruce, the way he has done in the past. Not necessarily last year, but before that.
They think if they're healthy, that'll be a key for. They had a bunch of players on the DL last year at the start of the season. Ripped foul. Jay Bruce went on the disabled list himself last year in May, had arthroscopic knee surgery, and came back quickly, maybe too quickly. He did not look like the same player. Finished with an average of .217. 18 homers, 66 RBIs. 2-1 count on Bruce. And now 3-1. And Liriano started last year not healthy, even though he wasn't on the disabled list initially. Later in the year, he did wind up on the DL. And he walks Jay Bruce. Pens wrap up a 3-game road trip tomorrow. They head to Ottawa, catch all the action from Canadian Tire Center as the Pens take on the Senators, starting at 7 with Pens pregame on Root Sports. All of a sudden, Pens need that one big time. That'll be a big game for the Penguins. And now, Brandon Phillips with 2 on and 1 away. And a strike on Phillips. This is what Brian Price was talking about before the game. The members of the media asked about Phillips hitting 7th in this order. He said Phillips is unselfish, but he also knows that in this spot he should be able to drive in runs. There should be men on base for him.
No, he's another one of their hitters that didn't have the type of year last year that they're used to seeing from him. So Lloyd McClendon used to say the players make out the lineup. So yeah, I mean you're going to hit up or down depending on what your performance has been most of the time.
And he popped them up. Shallow left center. Marte still coming and makes the catch as Mercer went out. And everybody seems to be okay. That could have been a disaster.
Yeah, that could have been a tough one. I'm thinking Marte may have got a late break off that one. As you can see, he is not even in the picture until right at the last moment.
It turned out to be a heck of a catch.
Yeah, it was a heck of a catch.
I mean, look at this. And Marte yelling.
He can't look or anything.
Really great play by Marte, as it turned out. 2 outs. Here's Zach Cozart. Ball 1.
I think it's real light gray skies right now. A little bit of rain coming down. You don't dare look away to see where the other player is. You look back up, you might never ever find the baseball again, at least in time to make the catch. So he had to just go in there and hope there wasn't a bad collision.
They figure they have a strong lineup offensively, certainly 2 through 7. The jury's still out on Billy Hamilton, who had his first full-time action last year in the major leagues at .250. Cozart, they don't expect to contribute a whole lot offensively. He had 4 homers, 38 RBIs last year. 2-1. Hit .221. Solid glove man. Mesoraco and Bruce aboard with 2 outs in the second. Tapped foul. And now even on Cozart. Johnny Cueto against Francisco Liriano, longtime friends from the Dominican. But Cueto has really owned this matchup, aside from that wild card game.
The one that counted.
Yep. Struck him out. He walked a couple, but he struck out a pair. A nice sliding catch in left from Starling Marte. Scoreless through 2 on opening day.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Malibu and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
0-0 to the third inning. Francisco Cervelli, Pedro Alvarez, Starling Marte talking. And check out our Day Automotive This Day in Pirates history. An unforgettable day, April 6, 1973. As the number 21 is retired in a pregame ceremony at Three River Stadium. Team owner Dan Galbraith, Roberto's widow Vera, Clemente's children on hand. This, of course, after the tragic plane crash, December 31st, 1972. And the number 21 retired forever on this day in 1973. Jordy Mercer hit .255 last year with a dozen home runs, facing Johnny Cueto.
coming down a little bit now, isn't it, Greg?
Not terrible. Always looks worse on TV.
I'm looking out in front of us.
Look out.
I'm not looking at the monitor. I'm looking out here.
I always look at the monitor. I like to see what
yeah,
people are
it
looking
looks
at.
worse, so.
You know, I like to look at it. Certainly wet enough for Jordy Mercer to lose the bat. Sails past Todd Frazier.
Most of the folks have tried to get back underneath best they can and find some shelter.
It's a heavy drizzle. Figured to have rain showers on and off much of the day. The forecast is not good the rest of this week here in Cincinnati. Mercer had a miserable first month last year, but then he really turned it around. And Cueto picks up his third strikeout.
So far, I've been getting a lot of swings at that changeup.
Now Liriano bats against Johnny Cueto. This could be Cueto's last opening day start as a Cincinnati Red. Becomes a free agent after this year. 0-2, and even though the Reds pared some salary by trading two of their starters, Alfredo Simon and Matt Latos, still going to be a big chunk of change to try and keep Cueto. He strikes out his mound opponent. Let's go downstairs to Robbie and Smikowski. Robbie.
Well, guys, you talk about Josh Harrison. He is making his way into the batter's box. He's making his first ever opening day start here in his hometown. And earlier he discussed what that meant to him.
It's definitely exciting. You know, I've been a part of a couple of opening days, and with this being my first one starting, it's special for me to be able to open up at home in front of family and friends.
I asked him after that about how he handles the request for opening day. He said, hey, it's the same amount of people as would normally be here. Mom Benita, Father Vince Harrison Sr. is here in the stands as well. Mom helped take care of a little bit of that stuff, but a cool day for Josh Harrison and the rest of his family, Greg and Bob.
He was asked when the last time he can recall opening any season as a starter. I said he has to go back probably his junior year at the University of Cincinnati. A big day for Josh Harrison and his family. 1 ball, 1 strike. He popped up to Zach Cozart his first time. There's Dad. The Jay Hay all day shirt. All-star last year. 1-2 now on Harrison.
The swing and miss at the off-speed, the slow stuff. It's really giving the Pirates fits right now. A little quick pitch by Cueto. Didn't go into the full twist. Gave it kind of a quarter twist. Did that to Liriano to strike him out of all people. Full twist.
Barrel league leaders, Barrel Automotive. Josh Harrison ranked among leadoff hitters a year ago. Batting average, on base, slugging, OPS. A fly ball toward the line in left field. That'll drop fair. And Harrison, a little hesitation around first and then trots into second with a 2-out double.
With 2 outs, I don't know why he was hesitating. That's got to be a double all the way. Even if you think he might get thrown out with 2 outs, you got to go for it. I wonder if he lost some footing or something. That little rain shower we had that came by. You hit a ball down there and that it's just fair. You got to get to second base.
Now Polanco Ball one on Gregory Polanco. He singled into center field his first time up. That's going to be out of play. One ball, one strike. 23-year-old Gregory Polanco with Josh Harrison standing at second base, trying to give the Pirates the first lead of the game. One ball, two strikes now. Polanco, that much anticipated debut last year, got off to a great start after his recall June the 10th, and then went through some struggles. And Cueto with a runner at second strikes out Polanco looking. 5 Ks for Cueto. Nothing. Unforgettable, of course, October 1st, 2013 at PNC Park. Francisco Liriano matched up against Johnny Cueto. And Liriano went 7 innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 run, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. As the Pirates won the wild card, went on to play the Cardinals, the National League Division Series. And here they are, matched up once again. But as we said, during the regular season, Cueto has the upper hand on Liriano and these Pirates. Remember, we ended the regular season right here last year with Cueto on the mound against the Pirates.
Back-to-back starts. Cueto knocked in the winning run in the bottom of the 8th. They let him hit.
Then Aroldis Chapman came on to earn the save. 4-1 final. Dashing any hopes the Pirates had, remote as they might have been, of winning the division. Squaring to bunt and then pulling back and taking the strike. He hit 132 last year. And has had some curious looking swings.
Yeah, his at-bats are always interesting, one way or another.
Career 101 hitter. And now it's 3-2. And he walked him.
And a little wild.
Let's go downstairs to Robbie.
Well, we talked about Liriano and how dominant he can be in big games. Another thing he's known for, as we saw just here a second ago, is that nerves can get the better of him sometimes and affect his control. And I asked pitching coach Ray Searage what they plan to do today, obviously being a big opening day start, and he said, look, we know Frankie's going to be giddy in the first couple innings, and hopefully he can maintain himself and control those emotions. Now, the main thing they're working on today is his tempo down the slope. That's his key. When he gets too quick, that's when stuff starts going wrong. So, Bob, I don't know what you've noticed here in the first couple innings, but this is typical Liriano, what we've seen from him from time to time.
Well, I'm not really a tempo guy, so I couldn't tell you. That's not my strength, repeatable mechanics.
Walks Cueto.
I kind of live in the other camp.
Not repeatable mechanics?
Yeah.
Strike on Hamilton. Third baseman Harrison in on the grass.
I think a lot of times with Liriano, and I've said this in the past, it comes down to more to what the hitters are doing than what Francisco's is doing.
And to Harrison, they'll get one and won't get the speedy Billy Hamilton. And now the Reds will take that trade anyway. Well, they'd just as soon have Liriano back in the dugout and the speed of Billy Hamilton. One away.
Not going to double up Hamilton very often. He is well by the bag.
It's a guy who set a pro record 3 years ago in the minor leagues, stealing 155 bases. Second round pick in 2009. Stole 56 bags last year. Was also caught 23 times. It's going to be interesting, though. We saw John Lester last night, the former Red Sox left-hander, now with the Cubs, on the national telecast. He is so gun-shy about throwing over to first base that didn't, and they were running around the bases on him last night. And good chance Pedro Alvarez will be tested before all is said and done, as Alvarez had some throwing issues the other day in Philadelphia. So 69 steals through 165 career big league games. Ricky Henderson had 67 at this stage. Liner to the right center gap. And this will put runners at first and third. Joey Votto singles to center.
That's another thing that a guy like Hamilton does, is it takes a little bit of your concentration sometimes away, and it's not really coincidental that when you have a fast guy on, a good base runner, that the guy hitting is going to see much better pitches to hit, a lot more fastballs, a lot better pitches to throw to second on in case the guy is running. And that speed can affect more than just stealing bases.
Frazier hit a comebacker to Liriano in the first. Todd Frazier, who drove in 80 runs last year, an All-Star and the National League Home Run Derby champion during All-Star Game festivities. They'll have the All-Star Game played right here in Cincinnati this year. 0-1 on Frazier. And a balk is called. And it's 1-0 Cincinnati. Liriano charged with a balk.
I wasn't looking at Francisco. I didn't see what he did. Must have just started to go up and stopped.
Just a flinch.
Wow, that was not much.
I wonder if they have been told quietly, the umpires, to look for the balk this year. Because we were doing a game in Kissimmee, I think it was. No, it was in Orlando. And Jason Grilli was called. You weren't doing the game, but it was called for balks in 1 inning. No, it wasn't Blass.
Oh.
Now, you know better than that. But 2 balks in 1 inning. He's never been charged with a balk in his career.
Well, there have been years where that has happened, that they'll give them something that they need to watch. And remember in the, I think, the late 80s, they, in 88, I think perhaps it was, they had a real problem wanting everyone to stop, like come to a set like for 1001. I mean, a long time before he went home. If you just came and kind of like stopped and then went, they would call balk every time. It's changed like that over the years. And they will concentrate on certain rules, and you're right, that might be one this year. And then the pitchers will have to make an adjustment and be careful.
It might be something they have just kind of quietly told the umpires to really watch for it. Two and 2 the count on Todd Frazier, and a 1-0 Reds lead. A walk to Cueto started this. The pitcher Johnny Cueto drawing the walk. The third allowed by Liriano, and Hamilton bounced into the fielder's choice. Votto singled to center, and that's when the balk was called on the Pirate starter. He gets Frazier looking. That's his third.
Watch this one hits the. But what I want you to look at the strike zone. Look how many balls are out of the strike zone, but yet he didn't walk him. And that's kind of what I talk about with Francisco, is that he gets enough chases out of the strike zone that he's not wild against some hitters, some teams.
Cervelli, a snap throw to second.
Say Walker just playing up the middle. He's just right there. Quickly was able to get in there to handle that throw.
Oh, 0-1 on Devin Mesoraco. Now Liriano out in front, 0-2.
He's 0-2, but I don't believe he's actually hit the strike zone yet. Again, this is the style that Francisco uses. That he won't go down, he won't get a big part of the plate unless the hitters force him to. So sometimes when you see he's been wild and he's walked some guys, you know, there's times where really it's more what the hitters did than what Francisco did. That they were patient. They decided to not chase and not swing it much.
Cervelli wanted that one. 1-2.
This one just off the plate away also.
So Cervelli tries to bring it back. And pops it up. Shallow left center field. Mercer again. He'll make the catch over the shoulder. A couple of fly balls. Been dicey out there. Marte caught one. Mercer this one. A balk brings in a run. 1-0 Reds. shows you the Reds are leading the Pirates 1-0. The season officially opened up last night. Adam Wainwright and the Cardinals blanking the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley. Plenty of baseball action this afternoon. Rob gave you that information on the Red Sox-Phillies opener in Philadelphia interleague play. The Blue Jays beat Masahiro Tanaka and the Yankees at Yankee Stadium 6-1. Edwin Encarnacion, a 2-run homer. Russell Martin in his debut with Toronto was 1 for 4 and drove in a couple. Tigers blanked the Twins behind David Price 4-0.
A little quick pitch. See how he's changed his delivery every now and then? Instead of going with that big that twist where he shows his number to you like he just did right there, sometimes he'll just go right at the players, or right at the hitters. I mean, he'll just almost looks like he just takes a little bit of a step toward the plate and boom, throws the ball.
And Andrew McCutchen, a high fly ball to left. Marlon Byrd will make the catch. We mentioned the Tigers. They will be at PNC Park a week from today for the home opener. We invite you to get on board with Pirates Baseball and become a season ticket member. You get unprecedented year-round access to exclusive events and experiences, and it's not too late for you to secure opening day tickets. You got to become a season ticket member. All full and half-season plans include opening day, and 20-game members have the chance to purchase opening day tickets. Call 1-800-BUY-BUCKS or go to pirates.com/membership.
I think he just did the same thing to Walker there, just kind of a real quick pitch. We were talking about Wainwright. Wainwright's another one of those guys that changes. He throws from different sides of the rubber. He'll go from the third base side to the first base side. Sometimes he winds up over his head. Sometimes he doesn't. Give you a different look.
He strikes out Walker for the second time. 6 punch outs for Johnny Cueto.
Yeah, he's using that no twist a little more often this second time through the lineup. No twist. He acts like he's going to go into it and then just all of a sudden steps and throws home. It doesn't even hardly turn his hips at all.
Sorry for the pun, but it's kind of a new twist for Cueto.
Yes.
He is always looking to add different things.
But he's definitely changing his tempo.
Yeah. And you are a tempo guy.
No. But I'm just saying that you can't
do. Yeah, you can change your tempo, right?
You can't pigeonhole everybody.
Right.
Different pitchers have success doing different things. And that's what I think. And Cueto definitely one of those guys that, I mean, it's almost like when he hits too. You know, he's up there hitting, he's doing all these kind of different things. It makes it interesting. Pitching's the same way. You don't know what he's going to do out on that mound.
Again, and Marte may be ready for it, but Billy Hamilton is too.
Nice play out center.
Billy Hamilton, a diving catch. A couple of strong defensive plays so far for the Reds, who lead 1-0. who explains how being bilingual strengthens his connection to the players. We take you to a California winery that shares the name and number of Marc-Andre Fleury, and much more inside Penguins hockey tomorrow after post-game on Root Sports. Here in Cincinnati, on and off again, the showers. A wet afternoon in the Queen City. They are enjoying a 1-0 lead. Marlon Byrd struck out on 3 pitches his first time up. Fouls this one out of play. Marlon Byrd hit .318 in 30 games for the Pirates after they traded him over from the Mets. Bucks dealt Victor Black, the pitcher, and infielder Dilson Herrera to get Marlon Byrd and catcher John Buck. A couple of strikes on him. Liriano, this is his 2nd straight opening day start, his 3rd overall. He started as a member of the Twins opening day 2009. That was because Scott Baker came down with a right shoulder injury for the Twins. And he strikes out Byrd for the 2nd time, 4 Ks for Liriano. Well, we'd love to hear from you on this opening day, where you're watching, what your thoughts are about the season. Tweet us in the booth, brought to you by Point Park University. Use the hashtag BucksBooth. Anxious to see your comments, questions, observations about opening day. Baseball's back. Hashtag BucksBooth. Jay Bruce walked his first time up.
After the winter that most of the country had, I think everybody sees this opening day as a kind of a good omen that spring certainly is here, but summer's just around the corner.
I think that's what baseball kind of signifies more than anything else. Goodbye to winter. Or as Pete Rose, the former Red, once said, it's like Christmas, except it's warmer. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Bruce. And deep to right, Jay Bruce, a home run to give the Reds a 2-0 lead.
We've been talking a lot about the style of pitching that Francisco likes to have, likes to stay out of that strike zone, live out on the edges, get guys to chase, like he did with Byrd with a strikeout. He didn't put this pitch where he wanted to, that's for sure. This was center cut. See where everything has been to this point. And that one just right down the pipe. And it's 95 too. He had something on it. He threw that ball hard.
That's just the 10th home run he's allowed to a left-handed batter in his career. Phillips goes the other way, and a little late start for Polanco, but he gets there.
I think that it could be getting a little slippery in that outfield about now, as far as your footing and your brakes on balls. That drizzle has been with us now for a few innings.
Liriano gave up 3 homers to left-handed batters last year. Anthony Rizzo of the Cubs, Chris Davis of the Orioles, and Joey Votto. Nice ball hit toward right, and the catch made by Polanco retires Cozart, but Jay Bruce homers off Liriano, and the Reds up 2. Pirates' fate could boil down to a few bucks, $6 who need to post a peak season. Find out who makes the list and why the season may hinge on their performances on Inside Pirates Baseball. $6 tonight after postgame on Root Sports. UPMC scoreboard, it is 2-0 in favor of the Reds. Jay Bruce, who last year hit 6 home runs off of lefties, despite just batting .161 against southpaws. Homers off of Liriano. Johnny Cueto has allowed 2 hits. Retired the Pirates in order last inning, and now Alvarez, who bounced to second his first time up. They have the shift on, of course, and he hit it to Brandon Phillips, the middleman of that defense on the right side, his first time up. And now Mesoraco wants to go out and talk with Cueto.
Cueto did something a little odd there when he got the ball back from him, like something bothered him. And then just now he told Mesoraco that everything's fine, you can go back.
Stabbed by Cueto. He received the Defensive Player of the Year award for his position last season. He makes that play on Alvarez.
Right down to his glove side. Ended up being fairly easy. So now what did he receive? A Defensive Player of the Year?
The Wilson Defensive Player of the Year award.
For pitchers?
Yeah.
Wow. That's all pitchers, Greg?
All pitchers. You don't buy it. You don't think he's a good defensive pitcher?
I have no idea. I just never realized that he was that good, to where he would be the Defensive Player of the Year.
Who would rank up there for you among pitchers defensively if it weren't Cueto, say?
Well, now that I've thought about it a little bit, it makes sense. It's got to be him.
Oh.
Can't think of anybody else.
Now Cervelli stepping out a couple of times, and he walks on 4 pitches. How do you explain that?
Cervelli walking on 4 pitches. I think we're going to see him walk a lot this year.
Yeah, Cueto has been, I mean, just brilliant here. And then all of a sudden, bang, he walks Cervelli on 4 pitches. But yeah, we saw that in spring training. Cervelli is certainly going to be a guy that
I think
draws his share of
already
walks.
I would be comfortable saying he's got the best eye on the team. And even though we've only seen him in spring training, it really looks like he's as patient as anybody.
Some things you can't gauge in spring training, but that's something you can. A batter's eye.
Yeah, his patience anyway.
And a fly out to center field for Mercer, and now with 2 outs, it's Francisco Liriano coming to the plate. He struck out looking against Cueto in the 3rd. This is Johnny Cueto's 4th opening day start.
One of the things the Pirates have emphasized is they would like to see their pitchers contribute a little bit more on offense this year. You know, not be great hitters by any means, but every now and then.
Just don't be automatic.
Right, not automatic outs.
That's routine there for Phillips. The halfway mark. Cueto rolling along.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network. Caring people, caring for you. And by Levin Mattress, located in all Levin furniture showrooms and freestanding stores. Let's go Bucks!
Opening day 2015 in Cincinnati, Ohio. And the Reds are leading 2-0. Playing through the rain here. And grounds crew
looking at the radar map.
It's Doug Gallant, head grounds crew, going over that iPad with veteran umpire John Hirschbeck. Hey, we've asked for you to tweet the booth, hashtag Bucks Booth, thanks to Point Park University, and we've got plenty. Thrilled to be watching opening day and hearing the voices of summer. Can't wait to see what happens in 2015. Thanks to Pittsburgh Boy for that. Scott, best day in sports. Opening day, SLF 1984. Bucks Booth, super excited for this baseball season. Let's go Bucks. A lot of excitement and anticipation for 2015. And there is nothing like opening day in baseball. And really, you have the treat of seeing this one from Cincinnati. This place historic, baseball's oldest franchise. 139th opening day here in Cincinnati. But then
up until a handful of years ago, I guess, it was always the first game. Traditionally, Cincinnati played first before anybody else.
For many years, they had the first game of the baseball season here in Cincinnati. But that changed with television a few years ago. We'll have the All-Star game, as we mentioned, here at Great American Ballpark. But then you also have the treat of enjoying the home opener next Monday.
Wasn't the opener in Australia last week?
Yeah. And yes, he did, says John Hirschbeck. So Liriano strikes out Johnny Cueto, and that's number 5 for the Pirates starter. Liriano started that opener last year for the Pirates, pitched well. No decision, of course, when he left in a scoreless tie. Neil Walker ended it. A walk-off home run in the 10th. Now Billy Hamilton bounced into a fielder's choice in the 3rd inning, erasing Cueto, but then he moved to 3rd on a base hit by Votto and scored on a Liriano balk.
Well, you know, you really feared your speed is when you have the first baseman playing in that close. Pedro way in on the grass. Be a little bit of a learning curve for Pedro, even though he got a lot of work over there, obviously, during spring training.
Alvarez played in only a handful of games at first base last year and then went down with a foot injury. Two and two. So you look at the position players from last year, the team that won 88 games, went back to the postseason the 2nd straight year. Names pretty much remain the same. Big change behind the plate, Francisco Cervelli. Hamilton fouls this one out of play. Last year started, of course, with Josh Harrison on the bench. It was a season in 2014 that started with a platoon in right field of Jose Tabata and Travis Snyder. And that really failed miserably, to the point where, out of desperation, they moved Harrison to right field. And you can almost point to the day they put in Jay Hay in the lineup every day, Bob, and this team started to turn things around almost directly.
I agree with that. There was a couple other things that could also go into that mix, but it really was Jay Hay that was that spark plug, got things going. And mainly our offense was doing nothing early in the year last year. Could not get anything going at all, and he was able to be that way. Even coming off the bench when he was a utility player, we thought of him as kind of that kind of give a little spark here and there. But he would prove to everybody that could be his job on a daily basis, and he would excel at it, and he did, and was in the batting title race right up to the last day. What was it? Lost out by, I think, 2 points?
Yep. Now it's weakly to the right side, and Alvarez, well, he's going to toss to the pitcher unnecessarily, but he'll learn. Play goes 3-1 and 1-2-3. Well, Josh Harrison, speaking of the Cincinnati native and Pirate All-Star third baseman, Jay Hay leads off, looking to spark the Pirates down 2 on opening day in Cincy. Leading 2-0. Now, the way Cueto has been pitching, this might be the only thing that could kind of disrupt his momentum.
I agree. You'd rather, for the Pirates' sake, get this to be a battle of the bullpens.
It would probably have to be a significant delay, although it is the first start of the season.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
such a long delay, right?
First week of April, you don't take any chances. He's probably thrown, what, about 70 pitches or so? You know, if we sit around here for 45 minutes, I think he's done.
Well, you almost have to hope for that. Normally we don't hope for a long rain delay, but I think in this case, the way Cueto is pitching.
Well, it's not raining right now, so this is a precautionary deal. They know that there's something coming, that it is going to be raining hard in a little bit. To me, that makes me think we're going to be here for a while. 45 minutes or so, because it hasn't even started yet. What the reason for the delay isn't even here yet.
You can see Cueto's reaction.
So we'll have to wait for that. He knows.
Wasn't happy that here it's not raining all that hard, and they're bringing the tarp out on the field. He wants to keep pitching.
Well, in his mind, they could pitch, another inning, get it over with. That's what the Reds would love to have got the top of the 6th over with. Got another inning out of Cueto, and then they would only have 3 more for the bullpen to cover, and who's going to pitch the 9th. So then they really only have 2 innings to worry about. So it is significant, I think, that the umpires have decided to, before it's even started to rain, to go ahead and put the tarp out there.
The Pirates made one change last night, calling up Rob Scahill to be a multi-inning guy out of the bullpen. So the Pirates would seem, and I guess the Reds also probably feel good about their bullpen, but for the Pirates' best chances to try and overtake the Reds on opening day, this might be the best thing that could happen. A fairly long rain delay, and try and get Cueto out of the game and make it a battle of the bullpens. Speaking of which, some of the Pirates relievers will leave their right field bullpen and head to the clubhouse. We're going to be stepping aside for a break, and then inside Pirates baseball, 10 great Pirates blow-ups. And we will keep you posted, so keep it right here. Opening day 2015, rain delay, 2-0 Reds. Pirates due up in the 6th. Ball one.
Yeah, the hitters of either team have not really done much. Just 4 base hits in this entire game. 2 for the Bucks, 2 for the Reds.
It was a 35-minute rain delay. One ball, one strike on Harrison. And a strike. Francisco Liriano looks like he's going to stay in the game. Nobody loosening in the Pirates bullpen. You surprised at all about that, Bob?
35 minutes is not too bad. So, you know, that's one of those things that this time of year in April could go either way.
Let's go back to the studio in a game break. All right, Rob, thanks. Here's Gregory Polanco. 7 strikeouts now for Cueto. Polanco tries to bunt for a hit and fouls it off. He singled in the first inning, struck out in the third. Johnny Cueto, who was away from Arizona, their spring training site, for about 10 days. He went home to the Dominican to be with his mother, who underwent open heart surgery. Returned to make the last couple of starts in Arizona. And the Reds finished up their preseason in Montreal, playing a couple of exhibition games against the Toronto Blue Jays. Cueto, 29 years old. Looks like he has picked up where he left off last season. Had a tremendous 2014 campaign.
If the Reds are unable to sign him to any kind of a long-term contract, he'll be one of the highly sought-after free agents.
And you wonder, Bob, too, if they happen to be out of the race by the trade deadline. You know, he could end up being the premier acquisition this summer for a team fighting for postseason.
Would be a rental, you know, knowing that he's going to be a free agent. But
John Lester was a rental.
He'd be renting a Ferrari.
Yeah. Last year, the A's picked up Lester, the deadline. Jeff Samardzija left the Cubs. Brian Price is in his second year, the former pitching coach here and a couple of other places, including Arizona. And another strikeout, 8 for Cueto.
A 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Really kind of threw that down the middle, about belt high. Hey, look, he threw a lot of pitches to Polanco that were in the heart of the strike zone.
Up the middle, and Andrew McCutchen, who was robbed of a double by Frazier in the first, singles with 2 outs here in the 6th. Now McCutchen is on.
That ball hard of the plate.
We'll see if Neil Walker can come through here with 2 outs. Walker's had a couple of memorable opening days. Last year, the walk-off in the 10th. A couple of years ago at Wrigley Field. Played hero, the grand slam.
Well, this is a ballpark, especially when it heats up in the summer, but I'm sure still even today that home runs usually play their part in deciding the game.
Falls behind him 2-0. That was in 2011 opening day at Wrigley, where he hit the grand slam. Pulls this one foul past Nick Leyva. First in the National League among second basemen last year in home runs, slugging, OPS. Finished second behind Chase Utley in RBIs. 76 of them. 2-1. And popped it up. Cueto will get out of it as Frazier gives way to Cozart. And after a 35-minute rain delay, Cueto puts up another 0.
Of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, widget, and more every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Todd Frazier leads off the bottom of the 6th inning against Francisco Liriano. Liriano's delay will be about 45 minutes. Frazier has bounced out and struck out looking, and a first pitch strike. Meat of the order here against the Pirate lefty. He gave up a 3rd inning run on a balk call after walking Johnny Cueto to start that frame. And a bouncer, and the second baseman Walker playing on the other side of the bag makes the routine play to get Frazier. And then in the 4th inning, after 1 out, Jay Bruce homered off of Liriano. He's allowed only 2 hits. He has struck out 5, and he's walked 3 to go along with that balk. Devin Mesoraco, one of the free passes, and popped up to shallow left his last time. And strike 1. One ball, 1 strike on Mesoraco. Marlon Byrd on deck. Liriano is 31 years old. 2 years ago, after signing a free agent contract with the Pirates, became the National League Comeback Player of the Year, going 16-8, an ERA barely over 3. Two and 2 on the Reds catcher.
Mesoraco thought he was going to finally get a fastball to hit. Change up out in front of it, just tipped off the end of the bat. I don't think you want to try and guess with Liriano or Cueto for that matter. You just have to get yourself into a good position and try to deal what comes your way. That time it was the hard slider down and in.
6 strikeouts, and you take away the balk. Did give up the home run, but he's given up just 2 hits. Still quite a pitching matchup on opening day. The lefty Liriano, the righty Cueto. Two of the 6 punch-outs. Marlon Byrd. Two and 0. Two and 0 on Byrd.
Byrd tried to guess fastball. 2 and 0.
Yeah.
Think, okay, now I'm going to get the heater, and nope, off speed. Off speed, and it wasn't in the strike zone. That Mesoraco at bat, only 1 pitch the entire at bat was in the strike zone.
Shaking off Cervelli a few times. Two and 2. Wonder how long it'll take for Cervelli and Liriano to, or for Cervelli to kind of know what Liriano wants to throw in these situations. Did he go? Yes, he did. 1, 2, 3, and 7 strikeouts for Francisco Liriano. The turkey for Byrd. 3 strikeouts.
Signature on it, Robert D. Manfred Jr., of course, new commissioner, Rob Manfred. But the process of how he got to this signature is a pretty impressive one. He actually sought out former Yankees manager Joe Torre for a tutorial on the proper way to hold the ball in order to get a good signature on it. Now, the day after he was elected commissioner last season is when MLB's senior VP of licensing came to him with over a dozen baseballs so they could eventually select one to use. Now, as for signing his full name on the ball, he looked into how past commissioners signed it. And for more than 2 decades on baseballs, if anybody has gotten one, you see Alan H. Selig, that's Bud's name, Francis T. Vincent Jr. is how Fay Vincent signed his, and Manfred just decided to keep the trend going with Robert D. Manfred Jr., right? Gregory Brown and Robert Walk.
That's right, Robert V. Walk. Thank you, Robbie. Robbie W. and Smokowski.
It wasn't that long ago. You didn't have commissioners on the ball. It was always the league presidents used to sign them all the time. A lot of the ones I drew said Bill White on.
One and two on Marte. Lined out to Billy Hamilton his last time up. Hamilton came in, made a diving catch. As the Pirates battle Cueto here in the 7th inning. You know, when you're playing the Reds, it's essentially, well, might be a 7-inning game. Brian Price has gone to Aroldis Chapman for more than just 3 outs in the past. He chases in the dirt. And another strikeout, number 9 for Cueto.
Well, the way Cueto's going, there would be no reason at this point with his pitch count down and he's rolling along to try and bring somebody else in. He's thrown 84 pitches.
Pedro Alvarez has grounded out twice.
That fastball at 94 is still pretty strong.
Two and one. Two and two. Already 9 strikeouts. You mentioned he led the league last year with 242. Picked up career number 1,000 earlier in this game.
It's like he likes to go to that quick pitch where he rushes home when he throws the fastball. He's trying to catch you sleeping a little bit. He does it, I think, only on fastballs. He did it again. That one at 93 mile-an-hour fastball.
I wonder if he'd double up on the quick pitch, the quick delivery. He did.
Well, we've seen him do a lot of crazy things out there, taking longer to get home. And he'll go into that twist and then he'll just kind of pause as he shows the hitter his number. Well, that wasn't a fastball and it was a quick pitch. So there goes that theory.
10 strikeouts for Cueto.
Watch, he starts to go into his turn and then stops and just steps right to the plate. Like he's trying to get the ball home quick because there's a fast runner on.
Inventing different things on the mound as the game goes on. Cueto. Francisco Cervelli drew a walk his last time up. Strike one. Called time and stepped out. Cueto not happy. Snatches the ball away from Mesoraco. And now Cueto.
Oh, it's a game now. It's like, okay, you're gonna call time on me. I'm gonna make you wait.
He goes back to the back of the mound, picks up the rosin bag.
That's all part of the playing between the pitcher and the hitter. A little cat and mouse game, trying to get into the other guy's head a little bit.
Boy, look at this, really taking his time now. Oh, he wanted that strike. 1-1. 2-1. This is an interesting
maybe
little matchup.
Maybe Cervelli got in his head.
Yeah.
Well, we do know that at least once in his life we saw him get rattled.
Two and two. Now the crowd kind of playing along with Cueto here. They want the strikeout. So does Cueto. Cervelli takes inside 3-2. Still 3-2. Cervelli battles Cueto, another Pirates catcher, of course. Was at the plate in the wild card game. The chance started. Russell Martin was at the plate, and Cervelli bounces this to past the shortstop Cozart. So Cervelli wins that battle.
You know what was really nice about that battle too is it takes some pitches away. We're talking about how his pitch count was in good shape. He'd only thrown 82, 83 pitches. He's up there now at 98 pitches. You love to make a pitcher work hard at any moment, but especially later in a ball game like this, and then end it with a base hit.
They threw that ball out of play as it's the first hit as a Pirate for Francisco Cervelli. Trip to the mound. The pitching coach is Jeff Pico. On deck for the Pirates, Andrew Lambeau. Jumbo Diaz is up in the Reds bullpen. Jordy Mercer, big time at bat here for Mercer. So pitch number 100 coming up here. And smacked down there by Cueto. He recovers and throws to first. So Cueto finishes 7 innings. Still blanking the Bucks. Pirates. Johnny Cueto against Francisco Liriano, and here's who's bringing the lumber. Brought to you by Yellowwood. Jay Bruce will lead off the 7th inning with 1 out in the 4th inning at this 1-2 pitch, some 403 feet, his first of the year, to give the Reds a 2-0 lead. Jay Bruce, after that home run in the 4th inning, Liriano retired the next 8 straight. He has allowed just 2 hits. That home run was a Joey Votto single in the 3rd that moved Billy Hamilton to 3rd. That was with 1 out in the 3rd inning. And then Liriano was called for the balk that brought in the game's first run. He has struck out 7.
There's always a little extra pressure on this inning for a starting pitcher. The game's real close, but you're down a little bit. You know you're going to get pinch hit for next inning. So you have to finish, for personal reasons, because you want to be able to get that win if you can. So you want to be the pitcher of record.
Ground ball, shift on Walker in shallow right, guns to first base. It took a while to get there.
And then also, you know that you want to keep the mountain that your club has to climb a little on the short side, because you're getting closer and closer to where the other club's closer can come in. So this is a crucial inning for the Pirates, but especially for Francisco to put up another 0.
Brandon Phillips 0 for 2. A fly to shallow left and a fly out to right. Pops this ball up. Maybe room for Alvarez. Yes. 2 outs. A couple of quick outs for
that's
Liriano.
Absolutely perfect.
Reds have bullpen action as Christopher Negron comes to the on-deck circle. Veteran Kevin Gregg is in the bullpen. Had a pretty decent spring. He's bounced around, the former closer himself. Ball 1. And a strike. Garrett Cole will start on Wednesday night. Two and 1 on Cozart, who struck out looking his first time up, flied to right his last time. Ground ball right side, Walker up with it. And on to first, and Liriano, a 1-2-3. Nice. Bottom of the 7th. This is a big time inning coming up for the Pirates. 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, walked 1 and struck out 10.
Now, Cueto certainly was as we expected. He had everything going for him. He had to control the stuff. The old saying about mid-season form, well, you saw that from Cueto. He's always tough against us, and there was nothing different this afternoon. A little tip of the cap. He's loved here in Cincinnati, that's for sure. But he has started his season out rather well. 10 strikeouts, just 1 walk. But Francisco Liriano started his season out rather well, too.
That's a great start for him.
I mean, you're going to have to be almost perfect to beat Cueto, and Liriano was very close to that.
Good to see him healthy to start this season, that's for sure.
We've been pointing out some of the chases he's had. Well, the reason he gets those chases is because of his stuff. He's got that fastball with that little finish on it, the slider.
His wife, Joanna, expecting their 4th child in the next few days. Liriano pitches 7 strong, but he's down 2-0 as Andrew Lambeau bats for Liriano against the 36-year-old veteran Kevin Gregg. Signed a minor league free agent deal this winter with an invitation to spring training, and had a strong spring in Arizona. Was with the Marlins last season. Just a few games in Miami. Tony Watson in the Pirates bullpen. Balls, 2 strikes.
Everybody wanting that pitch, but we'll see on the replay. It was well out of the strike zone. UPMC strike zone shows us that was about 4 or 5 inches out.
Just gets a piece of it. Lambeau did not make the club out of spring training last year. He didn't have a great March this year. Pirates pretty determined, especially after trading Travis Snyder.
It's a little bit of a different scenario. I mean, last year he was trying to be a starter. This year he was trying for a bench spot.
This is the role that, at least initially, he'll see a lot of starting out. Again, he's facing the veteran Kevin Gregg, the former closer. Gregg had bone chips removed in August out of his right elbow. Still 2-2. No, Lambeau just got a piece of it.
It rattled around in that glove. As Rocco upset with himself, not holding on.
Two years ago, Gregg had 33 saves for the Cubs. Also the closer with the Marlins. Time in Baltimore. And Lambeau hangs in there.
Working Lambeau everything away. First few pitches, he was really concentrating at the knees. You can see that little cluster down there.
Another foul.
Now they have him set up for that, where that last pitch is. That throws something up and in by the hands because of everything he's thrown away. Lambeau has to honor that. He has to wait a little bit. Can't start the bat too early. Worried about that changeup down and away. So he's a little bit vulnerable with any kind of a fastball in, at least getting the head of the bat to it.
10th pitch of the at bat. Nice. He got another piece of it.
Nice. That was the changeup. See, so now Gregg said, well, okay, I've thrown both spots, down and away with the slow stuff and he's able to get a piece. I threw him the ball fastball up toward his hands. He was able to get a piece. So now what do you do?
Down the line in right field. If it's fair, it's got a chance to get out of here. It's a foul ball. It would have been close if it stayed fair. You never know down this line here. And now Mesoraco going to discuss things with Kevin Gregg.
Yeah, they've tried both areas to get him out what they want to do, and it didn't work. So now they're out there saying, well, okay, now what do you want to try? He's covering the outside on us, but we can't get him out on his hands.
The 12th pitch of this at bat. Andrew Lambeau pinch hitting for Liriano. Popped it up behind home plate. Mesoraco back there. Just runs out of room.
Again, they tried to go back on the hands. One thing I can say for Gray, he is making his pitches. He's hitting his spot. But Lambeau is just fighting him tooth and nail. Well, the spin of the ball is going to bring this back to the field, but it just didn't quite make it.
Still 2-2. And now pitch number 13. Towards center field, sending Hamilton back toward the warning track. Boy, oh boy, what an at bat from Andrew Lambeau. An out, but he battled.
He did a few more feet. He might have been able to get it up over that yellow line. Yeah, really a solid at bat. But these are the things that Andrew's going to have to learn how to do. It's sit over there for all day and come off the bench late and give just what he did, a quality at bat. You know, you're not always going to be able to come through as a pinch hitter, but you want to do what he did. Go up there and make that pitcher work and give yourself a chance. And got a nice high five from Clint. Clint, I'm sure appreciated that kind of work.
Line drive, and Marlon Byrd slips. Now, whether he was thinking about coming on to make the catch, we'll really never know. But that wet turf kind of forced his hand at the last moment. And Harrison's second hit of the day. He doubled in the third off of Cueto. Josh Harrison, two-hit opener.
We talked about the home run ball earlier, that might still play big here for the Pirates. Lambeau hit one out there really well to center field, out by the wall,
and even came close to right field.
Just foul that was close to the fence. Polanco easily has power to reach the seats.
And Gregg pitched 9 innings last year. He gave up 2 homers in the big leagues. Manny Parra, the lefty, and going the other way, Polanco sending Bird back, and Bird makes an unbelievable catch. Harrison scrambles back to first. Well, Pirate fans saw Marlon Byrd a couple of years ago play outstanding defense in right field.
You know, I heard some boos when he didn't make that catch that Jay hit. Well, they're cheering him now. This was exceptional. Didn't time that jump. Polanco driving this ball hard the other way. Jay had to retouch. He's around the bag, had to retouch second. Make it all the way back. Huge play by Bird.
And now McCutchen toward right center field. Deep. Going back is Hamilton, and this is gone to tie the game. Andrew McCutchen on opening day with 2 outs in the 8th inning has tied the game. Can you believe it?
You could believe it. You could feel it coming.
The Buccos are back on opening day, and it's Andrew McCutchen clearing the deck in Cincinnati.
at the ball that Lambeau hit. Polanco drives one to the fence and left. You could feel it.
Here comes Brian Price. Too late for Reds fans. Andrew McCutchen, who didn't have to play a lot in spring training. On opening day, he ties the game. And a fired up Bucco bench.
A fastball outside half. Didn't try to pull it. Doesn't have to. He's got that great bat speed. Boy, look at Hamilton do everything he could. He almost jumped in the seats.
Andrew McCutchen, I think he gets a special feeling when he does something against these Cincinnati Reds.
Everybody has their team that they enjoy beating. If you got Kutch to really open up, I think he would definitely tell you it's these guys he likes to beat.
There's a history here with this club recently.
He had a couple of big home runs here last year, late in games. One that I think tie it and then sent to extra innings.
McCutchen, who finished third in MVP voting last year, of course, won the MVP in 2013. The new look Kutch with the same old results. Tying the game. And Brian Price now goes to the lefty Manny Parra. Andrew Lambeau had that 13 pitch at bat. Don't think that went unnoticed. He had a good look. Players to follow had a good look because of all those pitches that Greg had to throw. Harrison, the base hit to left. Polanco nearly hit one, not off the wall, certainly over the head of Marlon Byrd, made that great catch. And now Manny Parra, who was tremendous 2 years ago, not so great last year for the Reds.
They'll try to slam the door, but or the gate, I guess you should say, or I should say. The horse already gone.
There's the Pirates thoroughbred right there, Andrew McCutchen. What a start to the 2015 season. Regardless of how this one ends, shows the Pirates will battle. And now Neil Walker batting right-handed against the lefty Parra, singles to center field.
And that was something that every team learned early on last year, that Neil Walker was going to hit lefties.
In fact, he hit lefties better last year than he did righties. And that's going to be it for Parra, with Starling Marte coming to the plate. Brian Price will go to the right-hander. We will be back in Cincinnati. It's opening day, and it's a thriller to start the year. or more and get special discounts, and find out how you can receive one-of-a-kind experiences like access to the field. Find out more by going to pirates.com/groups or call 1-800-BUY-BUCKS. Bring a group out or get yourself season tickets. Season underway, but the home schedule begins next Monday. And these Pirates kept it close thanks to Francisco Liriano. Johnny Cueto was brilliant. But the Bucks get up off the deck, and Andrew McCutchen clears the deck with that 2-run homer to tie it. And now Jumbo Diaz, who was one of the real neat stories in the big leagues last year after some 13 seasons in the minors with a bunch of different clubs, including the Pirates 4 years ago. Made it to the big leagues with the Reds. Marte struck out twice against Cueto and lined out to center field in his second at bat today. And now Diaz in front, 0-2.
Marte got one off the foot. Oh, above the, I thought it was a foot. It was up on the shin. High enough to get above that guard that he's got. That hurt.
Walker singled off of Parra. And Marte, teammates for a time back in 2012 in Indy with Jumbo Diaz, a flashy right-hander. 31 years old. Listed at 6'4", 278. Shin still stinging. Diaz thought he had him, dancing off the hill. And it's 1-2 on Marte.
That one was close. You can watch it. It looked like it might have barely nipped the strike zone, but that's a good eye right there.
Now he got him. Strikes out Marte, but Josh Harrison singled with 1 out, and with 2 outs, who else? The man, Andrew McCutchen. Homers to tie it, flexing his muscles. 2-2. Day, game 2 of the regular season and the first night game. Coverage begins at 6:30. It'll be Garrett Cole against Mike Leake, 2 11-game winners last year. And then on Thursday at noon, A.J. Burnett returns to the Pirates Hill. Anthony DeSclafani on the mound for the Reds. Garrett Cole will be starting on Wednesday. Starling Marte checked out by head trainer Todd Tomczyk. Chris Dominguez takes a strike. He's pinch hitting. There's the head trainer, Todd Tomczyk. A little limp there from Marte, but he's okay. 0-1 on Dominguez. 0-2.
Looked like that was one of those. Does that hurt? Does that hurt? Then they find that spot. And yeah, that's it. That hurts. Be a lot of ice on that after the game.
Oh yeah. One ball, 2 strikes on the pinch hitter. Sean Rodriguez takes over at first base. And this is something that we are probably going to see a lot of this season. And a strikeout for Tony Watson.
Tony has been very sharp the entire spring. I think he's sharp. He can go out and get 3 outs on Christmas. Boy, I think about Tony more than anybody else about like spring training. It's like he is ready to go out and pitch an inning when it gets there. So it's really got to be a long 6 weeks for him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's ready to go after his first outing in spring. 0-1 on Billy Hamilton.
It's kind of like that, you would think, for most relievers, unless there's some new pitch or something that they're playing with.
Talking to Watson before the game, and really nothing new for him. Just anxious to get this season started. Now 29 years old. Bouncing ball just past the mound and into center field. And Billy Hamilton is aboard.
I thought Tony was going to catch that at first. The ball was wider than I believed it was. He just barely missed that. Didn't want Hamilton on.
Votto 1 for 3 against Liriano. Again, in case you're just joining us, he singled in the 3rd inning with Hamilton at first and 1 out, moving Hamilton to 3rd, and then Hamilton was balked home. They called a balk on Liriano. Next inning, Jay Bruce homered. Made it 2-0. Stayed that way until the top half of this 8th inning when Andrew McCutchen hit his first home run of the season, tying the game at 2. And his 4th at bat of 2015. All 2 strikes on Votto. Tony Watson made his first All-Star team last year.
Ooh. One thing that Votto always has is a pretty good eye. Yeah, that ball definitely was out. Watching it in live, I thought that might have caught the corner. having a nice little conversation there. Could have been about that last pitch, whether it was outside, whether it was low. About speed up rules.
2-2. Did he go? No. 3-2.
I don't know, Greg. Pretty close. I always think that might.
Three and two. Line drive, base hit to left. First and second. Joey Votto. A base hit off the lefty Watson.
Tony made a pretty good pitch on him. Votto, one of the better hitters in baseball. He's just sitting back waiting, and he takes that pitch that's right on the edge and goes the other way with it. All that speed out there at first base. Marte had to quickly get that ball back in, make sure Hamilton wasn't going anywhere.
Here is Todd Frazier. Two on, one out. Brad Fisher, there you see, has been added to the coaching staff this year. Jeff Bannister, former bench coach, now the manager of the Texas Rangers. Brad Fisher, Dave Giles has been on the staff, but Fisher will control the running game, call the signs from the dugout. Lefties hit 179 against Watson last year. Had one hit off of him in the month of September. Ball one on Frazier. Here's Brad Fisher. Spins and looks. Hamilton dives back in. There goes Hamilton for third. And they will basically let him slide in there without a throw and no play. Stolen base.
Well, they went out earlier and gave. We're going to take another look at that. You see the big jump, and nobody even covered the bag. They were pretty much giving that to him. But before any of that even took place, Cervelli went out and gave some signs, letting everybody know that he wasn't going to throw. Especially Jay down at third base, and that's why Jay didn't cover the bag.
The double play is still in order, and so Watson, though he's a strikeout type pitcher, would love to get a ground ball here.
Now Cervelli just went out and gave some more signs, letting the infielders know what he's going to do with the ball if Votto goes.
Oh wow, Frazier's going to give the Reds a big lead with a bomb. Todd Frazier's 3-run homer gives the Reds a 5-2 lead.
That went up into the second deck. That one was hit extremely hard. Ball's in the strike zone, but the up and in where you're going to try and jam him a little bit. And Frazier able to get the head of the bat around to the baseball in a big way. That first pitch that just missed downstairs a little bit, got him with a strike, but then he tries to come. That ball is just a little bit above the belt, inside half. And that's when you saw Tony Watson never even turn around. The way it leaves.
Frazier, who last year hit 29 home runs, gets the curtain call from the largest regular season crowd ever here at Great American Ballpark.
And this could be a team that hits some home runs this year, playing here at this ballpark. Got a lot of guys in that lineup that have hit 20-some home runs in a season.
Pirates christened Great American Ballpark back in 2003. Reggie Sanders hit the first home run ever here for the Pirates. Todd Frazier's home run brings the crowd to its feet and gives the Reds a 5-2 lead. 432 feet on a 1-1 pitch from Tony Watson, who gave up 5 home runs all of last year. A roller to the shortstop. Mercer throws out Mesoraco.
Well, you just never really can tell about spring training, can you? You see the red dugout there. Tony Watson was just brilliant during the spring, and first time out this year gives up the big home run. You don't know how it's going to play out.
And now Marlon Byrd. Broken bat bouncer to short. So the Reds get a 1-out hit from Billy Hamilton. Joey Votto singled off the lefty Watson, and Frazier homered. At 7:05, that's Mark Melanson sporting the shirt that you'll get if you're one of the first 20,000 fans through the gates. Presented by Point Park University. For tickets, go to pirates.com/Free Shirt Friday. That comes up again Friday, April 17th against the Brewers. Tony Watson gives up the 3-run home run to Todd Frazier. The Reds take the 5-2 lead here on opening day in Cincinnati. Largest regular season crowd ever in this ballpark, and now a fan favorite, one of the best in the business, Aroldis Chapman. 36 saves last year in 54 games.
54 innings, 106 strikeout. His numbers are just
ridiculous.
Yeah, they're just amazing what he has done.
He lights up that radar gun. 98. He's 27 years old.
430 strikeouts and 250 big league innings. He's only given up 126 total hits.
Sean Rodriguez. In the hole. Three pitches, and that last one at 100 miles per hour.
The last two, I believe, went 100.
His first at bat as a Pirate, and it comes against Aroldis Chapman. First time he'd ever faced Chapman. See Garrett Cole take the mound. Second game of the opening series against the Reds Wednesday. Coverage starts at 6:30 with Pirates pregame presented by W.B. Mason here on Root Sports.
3 pitches, 298 miles an hour worth of fastballs. Oof.
Now Cervelli. Cervelli's first look at Aroldis Chapman. Another guy that'll be interesting. We talked about Cueto. Could it be his last year in Cincy? Well, Chapman's contract up after this year. Chapman began last year on the DL after suffering a severe injury toward the end of spring training last year. Comebacker to the mound. Strike 3, 100. The Cuban missile. Aroldis Chapman strikes out the first 2, and now Jordy Mercer.
He is not doing anything fancy at all. He's just throwing fastballs right now. I think he's kind of playing to the crowd, giving them what they want. It wouldn't surprise me to see him go through the whole inning and never throw anything but a fastball. Just to kind of put on a little bit of a show here. He's lighting up that radar gun right now. This is why you like to beat these guys in 8 innings.
Yep. Popped up. Bruce. Yes, and the Reds win the opener. Well, the Pirates came back on the McCutchen 2-run homer, but Todd Frazier's 3-run homer snapped the 2-2 tie, and the Reds win the first game of the year.
Yeah, the game kind of has a little feeling of disappointment to it because of the way it ended after the big comeback. We showed the dugout with Kutch, and everybody's going crazy, and then to kind of have it end the way it did just a short time later, really makes it a little tough. And then they throw on the fact that it's an opener, but the good part is, well, you love the way Francisco went toe-to-toe with Cueto today. It was really a lot of fun to watch if you like good pitching, at least those first few innings.
More to talk about. Back to the studio, Robin T.